Hello, everyone, and welcome back to D&D&D&D&D campaign number 2 of Black Ink and Blue Blood. Austin, make sure you're on the roll 20 for music, and let's
Should
dive in to the
I
new
like how
chapter.
they waited till we were audible to say that.
I legitimately just forgot. That was on me. But let's dive back into the new arc, Where We Stand. A recap of the story thus far. Nobility from the scattered, politically divided land of Yav met on a train making its way to the Shadow Lily Confederacy. Lucian Elefakir, What's-Is Gioger, and Zephyr Tabedra. All three of them attracted by the same benefactor but for independent means, eventually discovered said benefactor dying of a mysterious illness. Later, not even a day after, a necromantic incident in the local graveyard caught the attention of the party, and on intervening, were recruited by the president of the Confederacy to recruit Zephyr's family, the Tabadrins, as allies in the coming conflict, as they worried that these attacks were simply the herald for something much worse. Making their way to Zephyr's home, while they treated you with cordiality, the Tabadrins betrayed you and sold you out to Barbarous, a member of an organization calling themselves the Scar Concord, a group of political nobles in Yav who are using this mysterious disease to achieve their own ends. Not much is known about where they came from or what their end game is. All that is known is that they are led by a mysterious woman known only as the Lady in White, a figure that, if you believe every story you've heard, is potentially a goddess, potentially immortal, but definitely a centuries-old witch that is capable of great feats of magic. Escaping from your captivity, the party returned, and the king of Tabadra, in exchange for his safety, offered a cooperation. If you can prove that you are more dangerous to him than the Concord, he will always side with who ensures his survival. And with that in mind, the party attended a ball taking place in the city of Mercurial in the Humor Empire to the north. Meeting with Zephyr's brother, Caleb Tabedra, a goblin girl going by Raccoon, and a Perusian Lovelander ranger by the name of Kero. The party investigated the goings-on at the ball and discovered the Concord were plotting to potentially infect a good chunk of the region's nobility. Intervening, the party managed to save the day, but were captured, and as in the time it took them to escape their captivity, while the nobles were spared, the commoners of the city weren't, and they were forced to flee as the infection spread. Seeking allies, the party made their way west to the kingdom of Sundragon, made a brief detour into the Underdark, where they discovered an entire civilization of elvish militants living under the soil, with advanced technology from the Second Age. Using their technology, the party managed to acquire more information about their enemies, and on returning to the surface, managed to take out a member of the Concord for good, assassinating and killing Tropu Bikok, the pilot who was the head of transportation for the Concord. Helping Sundragon deal with the Concord's mess, they joined you as allies and marched to the south, where you parted ways with them for now, as they went to help the Kingdom of Autumn fall on the war front to the east against Barbarous, and potentially start making the moves of long-term victory in this conflict. Meanwhile, the party made their way back to Tabadra a third time, where Caleb made clear his intent to seize the throne. But to do that, first the party would need assets and loyalty. As Caleb fostered loyalty among his kin, the party traveled east to the Aegis Federation, where rumor had it that Zephyr and Caleb's parents were held as prisoners of war by the Aegisian dwarves. The party managed to bail out their comrades and friends, family and loved ones, and make a new unexpected one in the form of Dr. Marula Knight, the alchemist and chemist, the Oathbreaker, who engineered this disease in the first place, but has seen the error of her ways and now hopes to leave the Concord after sabotaging them to assist you, wanting only to use it to turn herself into a beautiful elven girl so that the man she loves can love her back. Taking your newfound allies back to Tevedra, it took 3 attempted resurrections, but you managed to save the life of the dying king, who in exchange for his life once again has agreed to leave the kingdom and pass it to his son, Caleb Tebedra, or as he prefers to go by, Caleb of the Lev family. However, not all is incredibly well. The Kingdom of Wyborn is hosting the next ball, and who knows what risks the nobles will be walking into at a party hosted by their enemies. An assassin known as the Wolfhound appears to be stalking the city and attempted to assassinate the king, who was only resurrected through Lucian's timely intervention. As the dust settled, Caleb prepares to take the crown. The rest of you prepare to move to the war front and get into some of the bloodiest conflict any of you will ever have been involved in. Caleb's father, along with Caro's old adventuring friend who was held as his cellmate, make their way north to the kingdom of Blackthorn, where Rahutai intends to regroup with his friend Caro, and Caleb, your father, simply hopes to escort them there and back. They should be returning by the time you're coronated. Your allies on the war front are holding firm, but we'll have to see if that stays the case. And of course, who's to say what your enemies are up to? But we're all caught up. Let's dive back in to Black Ink and Blue Blood, where we stand.
I believe there was something important for Caleb during the downtime that we just talked about, right, Matthew?
Yeah, I was actually about to mention that. On the personal end of things, Caleb is not all occupied with matters of state. A couple weeks into your downtime, Dimitri's birthday arrives, and Caleb intends to host a party at the Bears Lodge to celebrate.
Oh,
His uncle has ensured that the lodging and its supplies will be free within reason, so you guys are free to party as much as you like.
yeah.
Caleb's
what my
preparing something. I think something he's never tried to do before, so here's hoping it doesn't turn into a disaster.
Is he gonna propose?
No, not yet.
Well,
We still got a couple years for that.
all right, well, in that case, I will do the recap and then we'll pick up at the party.
I think I'll just let Matthew know, so that way it'll be a surprise.
Okay. On the political front, word has spread that Tebedra has a new king that intends to fight alongside the Western Alliance. Many kingdoms have already expressed their approval of the change, a far cry from the near universal contempt the prior king held. The Wicked Commonwealth sends well wishes to Caleb and offers political counsel on matters of state, given the bout of tragedies Tebedra is still healing from. Your allies in the Western Alliance send their congratulations from the war front and promise to celebrate the occasion the moment the immediate danger is past. The Struth Sultanate sends a gift of gold with an offer of peace and friendship between the Tebedrans and the Struthians. And even the Weiss and Sardom took the time from planning their wedding to send a gift of 2,000 gold in the form of jewelry and gemstones, although there is little indication what their actual opinion on the matter is beyond that. So, Caleb, you may add...
I believe Caleb also sent a message back with their messenger.
Yes, but you won't know how they responded to it until a response arrives. But Caleb, as you send replies, you may add 4,000 gold to your inventory. Half of it a gift from the Struth Sultanate, half of it from the Wysen Sardom. However, not all responses have been so kind. The Kingdom of Spear Maiden sends no gift, only a message of mischief, that they greatly look forward to facing the party on the battlefield. And the Furter Sardom demands tribute in the form of 2,000 gold if you don't wish for their house to war on your, quote, fledgling kingdom of thieves and crooks. Intriguingly, the Minlus Kanat's response was more personal, saying that they'll be sending a diplomatic missive soon to negotiate with the party in person. However, that will have to wait until your official coronation, which is still some time away. For now, we take a breath from the political sphere and make our way back down to Earth, where Caleb, Dimitri, and the party gather to celebrate Dimitri's birthday. Caleb, if you don't have proficiencies in cook's utensils, then make me an intelligence roll, and without any modifier beyond that.
Intelligence roll, no modifier. Gotcha.
If you're not proficient in cook's tools.
I don't think thieves' tools would be applicable.
Yeah. You're not gonna lockpick a cake.
I mean, he knows how to do some, like, cooking stuff. He knows how he's proficient with poisoner's tools.
Yeah. You just got to make an anti-poison.
Yeah, just gotta make anti-poison. I just gotta do the opposite of what I'm good at.
Okay, so no nightshade berries in this one.
No nightshade berries. So, and just flat intelligence.
Yeah, since if you don't have any modifier, yeah.
19.
Okay.
I mean, one of them. I mean, the first thing is just gonna be sandwiches. How hard can that be? And he's gonna make that one that Dimitri said he liked.
Caleb, as you emerge from the kitchen, you all see that Caleb has prepared a small dessert of cinnamon squares and a small pile of sandwiches. They actually look fairly good, all things considered.
And then Caleb goes back for the hard part.
Make me another cook's tools check.
Just flat intelligence.
Yeah.
You know what?
Not yet. You haven't told me.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna use a lucky point for this.
Gotta use it for the important stuff.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I'm sure he'll have more long rests during this downtime.
I mean, yeah, no, you're only halfway through the downtime as it is.
All right, let's try that again. Burn all my lucky points for the day on this.
God. And here's the part where I reveal that you were going to get ambushed.
Okay, this time it's a 16.
Okay. Caleb, unlike sandwich preparation, which, you can just kind of eyeball to a certain degree, baking is an exact science, quite literally.
Luckily, Dimitri says he actually kind of likes screwed up food, so...
Yeah. Caleb, for fun, if you don't have to, but just if you want to, do you want to describe the cake you bring out to the party?
I guess does he have like I guess we know he likes cinnamon. Is there any like fruit that he likes that might go with cinnamon?
He doesn't really have a lot of
Apples?
he doesn't really have a lot of experience with fruit, but again, you know that he is fond of the basilisk herb.
Is that like the? Is Caleb familiar with it too?
Roll nature.
Dang, you would have thought he would have tried it at some point.
I mean, if you didn't say you did, so.
A 10.
You are familiar with it. It is a herb that grows in the area. It you've tried it once or twice. It's not bad. It basically is just a leaf put into food to just make it taste stronger.
Okay.
The basilisk name simply comes from its association with royalty.
Okay.
I
I guess
completely
Caleb
believe this.
can Caleb remember in like what kind of like sweet stuff usually gets paired with cinnamon to his memory?
Roll insight, I guess. I'm gonna have to Google this
18.
because I don't know myself.
I know like apples go well with cinnamon, I think.
Yeah, apples, almonds, apricots, bananas, blueberries, chicken, pears, pancakes, French toast. I'll just send you the list.
Okay. Does does the
I
tavern have any of these things?
most of them. The only thing they don't have is bananas.
Okay, so maybe. All right, Caleb will try. Caleb will try to make like a cinnamon and I guess like maybe apples and pears for the
Okay.
cake.
All right.
That's the kind of flavor he's going for. He figures those will work well together.
Okay. As Caleb brings out his cake, Dimitri
I figure it's
celebrates.
just a basic like one layer.
Yeah, it's not like a wedding cake.
It's
But
basically just he went off of seeing servants do this.
yeah, you and the rest of the party for the most part. But as you all dig in, the cake is surprisingly pleasant. And Dimitri does praise it very highly. Although, Lucian, you can't help but notice that as Dimitri compares it to other foods he had, you start to realize that, yeah, part of the reason Dimitri doesn't seem to have very high standards of food is that it sounds like he's been literally eating garbage up to this point, like actually out of other people's trash.
Ouch.
Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how awful is like the food?
The food's actually a solid like 7. The cake is like kind of like a 6 to 7, but the rest of it is actually like a 8 or 9.
Caleb did a good job.
Yeah, she'll compliment Caleb. Like, Caleb, this is really, really good.
Thank you. I mostly just kind of went off what I saw other people do. And I know he likes this kind of sandwich. He said he stole one once and he thought it was the best thing he ever had.
It's true. I never stopped thinking about it.
So I did my best to recreate.
You all
And
enjoy.
everybody knows all the best things are worth stealing.
Dimitri gives you a thumbs up.
Uh, am I
That
the
could
only one
that
in
could
this room?
practically be part of the Tiberian code.
I think I'm like the only one in this entire country who doesn't want to steal anything.
Dimitri swallows what he's currently eating before. Give it time.
She
We
just
have a
kinda,
way
like,
of affecting
squints at him.
people.
Yeah, you guys are already rubbing off on me. She kind of gives a playful smile and a jab.
The Caleb and Dimitri's friends seem to appreciate his hard work.
Yes. And you all can hear the group of kids talking happily about what they plan to do with the rewards Caleb is going to be giving them.
Caleb just hears and it's like spoken like true Tiberians.
Do I hear the children talking about what they're gonna get?
Yeah, they're not like being subtle about it.
Okay, well, like what
Quite the
kind of
opposite effect. Here, I have the list here. As you kind of turn your attention to Caleb's friends, as everyone digs into Caleb's cake and sandwiches and enjoys the party, you see that, or rather, you hear that Dimitri wants Caleb to teach people in Tebedra to read Braille and get enough money out of this deal to get his parents out of poverty. Although, of course, Dimitri plans to take the greatest third for himself so that they won't be able to take him if they try to leave the city.
Actually, can I stop you right there? I actually want to get him a book with Braille in it. I didn't know if that was like possible.
Well, the problem is that people in Tebadra don't read Braille.
No, I mean him specifically, just for him.
Well, you would have to get one somewhere else, but yeah,
Yeah,
you could
the
do that.
Badrians basically don't stock that shit.
Yeah, they basically would open a book, see that it's Braille, and be like, "Oh, it's gibberish," and throw it away. Use it as
Gotcha.
firewood.
You have to understand, most of what Tebadra has for selling is stuff they steal. So if they don't see any value in it when they steal it, they don't keep it to sell it.
Fair. All right, continue.
Jane wants Caleb to set her up with a wealthy, powerful, and tolerable noble. If he can't squeeze that, then just get her a handsome payment so she can do it herself. Basically, either get her to marry rich or make her rich enough to marry rich.
Okay.
Tandem wants Caleb to rebuild their family's estate and find a new set of parents to adopt them. Proper Tebadran parents who can, and I quote, teach me how to gamble and play like everyone else.
Oh my god.
You just need an elf for that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stick her at that. Like, oh, that's cute.
Jerry wants to be sent to art school, and if Caleb is feeling particularly generous with rewarding Jerry, since they did work the hardest out of any of them, a noble seal of recommendation to the art college.
Ooh.
Rosie simply tells Caleb to just give her share to Jane, and as she, quote, totally needs it. Don't tell her I said that, though.
Right in front of her fucking face.
Well, she's deaf. She can't hear her.
Oh.
Ouch.
That's right. One of them was deaf.
And Anna simply says to get her upgraded prosthetic legs and give a lump, basically give whatever payment for her doesn't go to her for the legs, sent to the doctor who's been treating her wounds.
Aww.
In total, they say that they would consider 12,000 gold total a fair payment. So 4,000 for everyone, or 8,000 for Jane, since Rosie's just giving her share to her.
Okay.
Man, what do they think they did that deserves that much money?
I mean, they
spread the word. They did ultimately succeed in getting Caleb on the throne.
Yeah.
Plus,
it would help.
Again, have you met a Tebadran once? They're convinced that their friend is now a basically infinitely wealthy king, and they can ask him for literally whatever they want. Why would they only ask him for like $20 and call it a day? This opportunity's once in a lifetime.
Yeah, that's what's a Badron for you.
I feel like you would do that though.
I do too.
Oh, absolutely. But you know what? What's that old saying about reflections?
So so if I read it right, they want these things, and then they want 4,000 gold each.
Yeah, basically 4,000 gold for everyone, which would cover their individual wants. But some of them make additional requests.
Like Jerry.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, all of them want the money, but they also basically ask if you can do them another service. But in some cases, like with Jane, she says if you can't do that, then just give her a little bit extra than everyone else.
Yeah. Caleb would probably just tell Jane he might need some time on that one to fulfill all of those. Basically, give him time, and he can probably find her a decent list.
She pushes her glasses up and signs out to you. I'm a patient woman. I can wait. Just make sure he's rich, powerful, and not a pain in the ass.
Honestly, the most difficult part is the last part.
She gives you a smile and a nod at that.
And he'll probably also tell Jerry that he'll get him into the best one that his word will mean anything to.
Is that supposed to comfort me?
I'm just being realistic. I will
That's
do my
okay.
absolute best for you.
Would I know if I signed it, if it would be of any use?
Considering you're dead,
Well, I met the queen at the ball, so she knows I'm not dead.
Roll history.
Okay.
And even then, most of us are supposed to be dead, even you. So
Yeah,
that
that's fair.
argument isn't very,
yep,
valid.
yeah, but Caleb is publicly back out and about.
That would be an 18.
It would kind of depend on basically the person that got the letter, because while yes, your name does carry weight among educational institutions, remember your family was always a little bit controversial.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it's not really a concern of if your name would have the weight to do so. It's more, again, depending on who gets the letter exactly, it could make a difference between this oddball kid is being sponsored by those weird zombie making assholes in the north
Yeah.
versus, oh hey, this like brilliant kid is being sponsored by the Scion of Scholars.
Right.
So basically, it's a gamble. You know they would likely know your name. It's just a matter of how they would react that you can't really predict.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Lucian will just kind of say to Caleb, I'm not exactly sure if it would mean anything, but I guess it depends on who gets their hands on the letter, but I could possibly do something. It's a bit of a gamble.
If I will consider it, I will see. I will consider the options, and if the best one seems like one that makes use of that, I will.
Alright, that seems fair to me.
Jerry gives a nod.
And Caleb's like, I promise you, I will do the best I can for you.
It's okay.
Mm,
If you can't get me a seal, then just give me the money. If they don't think I'm talented, they'll at least think I'm rich, and that usually makes up for it.
I'll still give you
Caleb,
the money because that'll help you even more. But I will do what I can. I will.
Caleb,
Give...
I do have another suggestion.
Oh,
What
sounds
is
like he's
that?
getting. Oh.
It's a number. If I don't know the number, I don't answer.
No, that's fair. I just heard it in the background, so I was like, oh, he might need to take it. Hold on. All right, go on then. Sorry.
Caleb, I might have another suggestion for you.
What is that?
Well, after we go kill Barbarous, maybe my queen can do a little thing for you.
That is possible too. Maybe there may be some places that her word may be better than mine.
Or mine.
So yes, we have plenty of options. I'll make it happen, Jerry.
Thank you. As he sits back down, everyone starts to excitedly chatter with him about how, like, oh, you're going to be a famous artist. No more painting graffiti in the alleyways.
Yes.
How much money would you
Unfortunately,
need?
Rosewick would be less good to look at without you here.
How much
It's
money
not
would
good
he
to
need?
look at normally. And Caleb, if he's going to give everyone their share, 12,000 gold total.
I can't
Basically,
do.
he's gonna have to dip into the treasury for that one.
I'm going to go up to Jerry, and I'm going to kind of like go down to meet him, and I will
I think it
say
was 4,000 each.
it's 4,000.
Yeah,
4,000 each, 12,000 for all of them in total.
And she just kind of like gives a kind of sorrowful look at him. I don't have much to offer, but I will give you 2,000 gold if you will paint me a beautiful picture.
Okay.
That's an expensive art piece.
I will give you
Hey,
1,000
I'm sure,
now
like,
as a deposit, so I'll give him 1,000 gold as a
Matthew,
deposit.
What's that?
as a patron who has probably stolen some art before, how much does like high quality art go for nowadays?
Uh, the most expensive ones will be like a couple hundred. And bear in mind, that's for like statues or jewelry.
He just
Um,
draws her a stick figure. Here you go.
yeah, whatever. Whatever his style. She's gonna request.
I'm going to.
She's gonna. I'll have to think about what she's gonna request, but she's gonna give him 1,000 gold as a deposit.
Oh, Jay, really getting a good deal on that one.
Yeah, your noble seal's already paying off.
You see, I told all of you that there would be great benefits to being my friend.
Yes, a gullible elf. Don't try this when I'm broke.
Eventually, if there's nothing else here.
I guess Caleb was gonna say like one thing, like kind of towards the end, like a little message for everybody.
Okay.
I guess given. I imagine they're not using glasses in this place.
Yeah, it's just like tankards.
Yeah, Caleb just like uses it like a gavel so I can get everyone's attention. There's one thing I wish to say before we put an end to this day. I want to thank everyone here for helping me to get here, for helping me achieve what I set out to do. I appreciate everyone. And most importantly, to Dimitri. I hope that this next year will be one of your best.
You're here. I know. Like I'll do the whole mug in the air.
Dimitri and Caleb's friends do the same, with the exception of Jerry, who, given his situation, simply uses his foot to do the same. You all toast to Dimitri's future and health, and enjoy a peaceful evening. One of many over these weeks. Eventually,
Peace. It never lasts.
speaking of, Caleb, do you have any big event planned for your coronation, or is it just going to be sort of a quiet, I'm king now, like, officially, let's, get to work?
I guess so. Just figuring that with everything that's happened, maybe the people could use a good little gathering and all. He'll have it done in the square with everybody to see.
Okay.
And he'll invite like all the important people of Rose Were Confused like directly to attend.
Okay.
Because I believe Rose Were Confused are the only inhabited cities in Tobadra.
Yeah, the only other settlement right now is Tobadra Farms, which is abandoned. All right. Caleb, from one party to another, you begin planning your ascension. And a couple weeks of planning, the day is here. It is now, let me pull up my calendar here. It is now the 23rd of Alet, the month of sowing. It is believed by the people of Yav that in this month, in these weeks, this is a time for planting seeds in the ground, both practically because the air starts to warm up, which is good because you guys have been enduring a very harsh winter up till now. But also when it comes to your friends and your allies and family, this is the time to plant the seeds for things that will eventually come to be reaped. 2 months from now will be Zealot, which is the month of receiving, where those seeds you planted in Alet come to fruition. And I guess you could say this is your sort of, kind of doing that little hand thing of vague. This is your seed planting. Setting up for the future as you prepare to become king of southern banditry, a position your father long wanted for you, long dreamed that the Vase would have. But only now do you finally have it before you. As everyone begins to gather in the square, we'll take this one at a time as you all prepare for something. Let's be real. We know this probably isn't going to go smoothly, right? Zephyr, what are you doing as Caleb plans for his ascension party?
Well, I'm Ugh. I'm probably not gonna.
Dying.
Yeah, that too. But you know.
Yes, Icker.
Yeah. But that's a part of me. It's always a part.
Yeah, so saliva.
I know, but that's like actually a part. Like I started off with Icar blood, you know.
But yes, what were you gonna say?
I'm probably not gonna be at the party gathering.
Okay,
But
where will you be?
I'll just be with my father.
Okay. You spend time with your father. Pokey, for his part, with you not insisting on having him leave and his health getting better by the day, he's rapidly become a lot more fit. He's still a little skinnier than you, a little bit looser and lither, but his health is improving significantly. He is no longer ill and is strong enough to walk and carry things on his own without assistance. He does demonstrate interest in attending the party. However, he does also acknowledge that you are not very social and will not force you to go. What's his? What will you be doing?
Pretty much the only thing he's doing is he's going to make sure he doesn't get or that Caleb doesn't get assassinated like their dad did.
Fair enough. Roll perception.
And
We'll come back to you. And go
also,
on.
how much longer do I have with my paladin buddies till their contract is done?
Actually, for the moment, they have agreed, since they didn't exactly get to fight last time, that they will stick with you, at least for now, until they basically actually get a battle. And assuming they survive, they will then renegotiate the contract with you.
Okay, fair enough.
Because remember that while the money is obviously the prime motivator, they're also in this for their honor. So it wouldn't exactly make a good case for their honor if they took your money and then bailed without actually fighting anything.
Yeah, good point. Maybe they've actually changed.
And Lucien, what will you be doing during the party?
Okay, during the party, mostly just mingling. She's wearing the dress that she wore for her birthday party, so she has, a little party dress. But mostly just mingling and drinking and trying to have a good time.
All right.
Also, I was gonna note, like, as part of like, I had two things Caleb was gonna do as part of the preparation.
Oh, go for it. Yeah, we've gotten to the end of everyone else.
He was going to, considering past events, he was going to basically put the general in charge of making sure that this goes smoothly. Use the guards and the soldiers at his disposal to ensure that.
Okay. You may make your perception check with advantage.
And then I believe we said like Caleb's family colors are usually like white and gold, right?
Your family, yes.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Yeah,
but
just
like,
clarify.
what are the colors of like Tebedra?
Orange and yellow.
Okay, I can work with that. And I believe the symbol of Tebedra is a pumpkin.
Yeah, jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah, jack-o'-lantern. So Caleb would like to commission something not too, like, crazy, you know,
Yeah,
because
just like
it's
a
Tebedra. He doesn't want to
a
seem
humble
pretentious to
pastry.
the people.
Okay.
And he's going to have it use primarily white and gold, but then add in orange for Tebedra. Because, you know, if you think about it, gold can basically stand in for yellow.
Fair.
And he'll have like a cape, I guess, or like a cloak, or he'll have like on his cloak the symbol of Tebedra. Hello?
Sorry, I was waiting for something. All right. To get a custom cloak and design of that sort commissioned, there are tailors that can assist you with that. Lucian's been visiting them frequently. For something relatively fancy, it'll be 20 gold.
20 gold, okay.
Mm.
I think Caleb's like imagining like something that is fancy enough that he would be like respectable amongst nobles, but not so like gaudy that he seems pretentious to like the regular people of Tebedra.
Fair enough. All right.
So let me take off 20 gold. And so the colors will be white, gold, and orange.
Okay.
Basically, the gold acting as the yellow of Tebedra and the gold of his birth family.
All right. As the day of the coronation arrives, many familiar faces come to celebrate Caleb's crowning in person. What is your perception?
So mine was a 23. The second roll was a 21.
Okay. As you and the Tebadran general and several Tebadran troops stand guard over the area, especially with the wolfhound still on the loose, you, in your careful watch, spot many familiar faces arrive. You see the bandits from Fuse, who had initially refused to join the battle, have come here as guests.
The coward showed up.
After all, the battle's go, they're the dangerous pass. And shockingly, you see the Shadow Lily alchemist among the guests.
Huh.
But just as unexpected guests are present, some unexpected absences are present as well. You are the first to notice, although I'll say Caleb, you'll definitely at some point during the ceremony, if not already, will notice this. Despite being scheduled to return by now, Bernard and Rahutai have yet to return and definitely aren't here.
Mm-hmm.
You keep a careful watch. Zephyr, you stay at the Bear's Lodge with your father. Lucian, you drink and party. And Caleb, you prepare to be crowned. And you see another figure in the crowd that kind of sticks out to you, but you don't, at least at a glance, recognize them. Long, dark hair that goes past their shoulders, about down to the small of their back. Their skin is pale. They're dressed in this very fine blue dress uniform. The sort of uniform like an officer would wear to a military parade. Blue with red trim, silvery lines going across the stomach, red cuffs, a red lining inside, high boots that go all the way up to their knees. You can see at their belt is a long two-handed blade. However, you do see it is currently piece-tied with a red ribbon to their belt. You can see she has an eye patch on her right eye. And her expression is kind of dull and expressionless. You can see that she has bandages wrapped around her right arm, with some of the bandaging material kind of flowing loosely in the wind.
Do I recognize what group she's from?
Roll history.
History. 16.
You do recognize her, or at least you recognize her based on more stories than anything. You don't know her super well because very few do. But if she's who you think she is, that is potentially very good news for Caleb. You recognize her as Khatun Benigumo Minlus, the Khan of the Minlus Khanat. The reason this could be potentially useful for Caleb is, you recall that Khatun Minlus was an ally to your family during the War of Gilded Roses against Barbarous a century ago.
Huh. Yeah, I would definitely keep an eye on her.
All right.
And rooftops.
Of course, yes. You kind of take in her presence, surprised, but keep it in the back pocket for now. As the guests fill in,
I'm so sorry. I had to take out Peach.
no worries. As
But
the guests fill in, Caleb, do you wish to address your people?
what did I miss?
The guests are starting to show up for the party. Caleb's dad and Caro's friend haven't come back yet, and they were supposed to be back by now.
Okay.
And the Khan of Minlus is at the party.
Okay.
Has Caleb been officially crowned yet?
This ceremony is essentially marking that transition. So basically, yeah, if you want to formally address your people in any way, now's the time to do it. You can see that
Alright.
Fuse and Rosewick have both gathered in the square, along with your allies from elsewhere to mark the occasion.
I guess Caleb will address them.
All right. Caleb, you take a raised platform to stand above the rest as your people quiet and look to their king.
I'm glad to see that there could be so much celebration now, considering everything that has happened recently. I felt it would be good for Tepedra to be able to enjoy this moment as a new age begins for us. I am not going to act like other kings and royals of these other kingdoms and queendoms and tsardoms and so forth, and tell you all these things about how amazing it is going to be. There will be difficulty, but there is always difficulty. Us Tebadrians know this better than anyone. We have always fought and scraped by. But I make my promise to you that now that fighting and scraping will begin to really shape Tebadra going forward. Things are going to be a little different, and I hope things to be better. I hope that Tebadra can finally take its place in amongst the kingdoms of this world, not just the outsiders who made deals to get a resemblance of respect, but the true respect that other kingdoms like us in the past have received. But ultimately, I will remember our code. Hang on, Matthew. I just want to make sure the order. It's lie, steal, cheat, survive, right? In that
Yes.
order?
Yes.
I still remember our code. as it is what makes Tabeja Tabeja. We shall lie. We shall steal. We shall cheat. And we will survive.
The crowd applauds, and you can hear several hollers in thieves' cant as the Tebadrins proudly declare that banditry and Yav will never die. For as long as there is wealth to be traded, there will be those who take it.
Oh
For
yeah,
as long-
hang on, I
Yeah.
want to add one more
Listen to
thing I forgot to add.
Go on.
Caleb was after he gives them like a second to cheer, he will say, "And that is the promise I will make to you. That is the promise I shall make as your king, King Caleb Lev Tabeja." You see what he did there?
Oh yeah. The cheers erupt again. Lucian, what were you saying?
It's just like Lucian is just like that eyeball emoji of like.
They're supporting, thievery.
Yeah, yeah. Just, I feel like a sinner in the church.
The chant goes up. All in thieves' cant. Lie, steal, cheat, survive. Lie, steal, cheat, survive. Banditry will never die as long as there is money to be taken. As long as there is rich, there will be poor. Beggars will never die out. There will always be more those who have less than others. And among them, there will be those who are willing to take what they deserve. That is what Tabedra stands for. Caleb, you are now king of Tabedra. Its people are yours, for better or for worse. As the party rapidly descends into abject chaos, but this just more the partying chaos than the battling chaos.
Basically, it's what you expect from Tabeja.
You're a little disappointed your father wasn't here to see this, but what's done is done. You are now
Yeah, the
king.
howl can't be everywhere.
What would you like to do now?
I guess I guess Caleb will let the partying go on for the night, but the morning shall be when he works. Shall be the beginning of the work.
Okay.
And during some point of that, Watson will let Caleb know that the representative that he noticed is here.
All right. Caleb, you do recall in their letter they did say they would be meeting with you. However, you were not expecting the Katoon herself to attend. You figured she'd probably just send an attendant.
Could Caleb see them
Yeah.
amongst the people?
I feel like because I was away, I feel like Lucian was too busy partying to even notice.
Well, yeah, like Watson was standing guard. That's the only reason he even noticed she was there. Yes, with What's-His guidance, Caleb, you're easily able to see her. She's in a dress uniform that looks distinctly military, although not a military you recognize. An eye
It's
patch
not
covering
her
her right
own military.
No, I will definitely say it's not her colors.
Interesting. Does she notice that he noticed her? I will say that he will allow it.
No, yeah, I was rolling to see who she was because she was basically tossing up between paying attention to two of you, so I was seeing which one she was currently looking at. Yes, her gaze is currently fixed on you. The one eye you can see is golden and gleaming.
Interesting.
I guess. You think? I guess Caleb will kind of go from where he is to where they are, and will be like, "I must say, I'm surprised, if not honored, to see someone of such importance to attend something like this."
As you approach, she has two attendants near her, a man and a woman. The man has long, kind of orangish red hair, wearing simple woolen clothes. He is actually dressed in the Minlusian colors, though, gray and black. You can see he's missing a few teeth, and his eyes are beady and suspicious looking, and he kind of steps to one side of her and puts a hand on his belt where you can see a pistol. On her other side, you can see a young girl with very simple looking wool clothes, just the kind of furs that you would expect to be wearing when they live so far north. She doesn't appear to have a weapon that you can see, but she does also kind of step protectively in front of the canoe. Her eyes are a brilliant blue and her hair a dark brown, but cut short, almost militarily. But the canoe simply puts a hand on both of their shoulders and separates them with a kind of shake of her head, seeming kind of annoyed. Well, it's not every day that someone like us gets to be a noble. I must say I like you better than the last one.
Oh, I do appreciate the confidence.
I didn't say it was confidence.
My apologies.
So, she looks over the crowd of Tebadrins who are still partying and cheering, not really seeming to pay much attention to her.
Not Lucian, just like dancing like a idiot.
What are your plans now?
Well, for tonight, let the people enjoy it. Tomorrow, the work begins. I must secure things here before making any kind of move, really.
Understood.
By the way,
Smart.
which side of this current conflict is Minlos been on? Are they neutral? Are they on their side? Have they helped the Concord?
Roll history.
History. Caleb has proficiency in history, so guess what? He can't roll lower then.
He rolls in that one.
Which I didn't, so 15 plus 7.
22, I believe.
Correct.
Yes.
While she seems a little distant, Caleb, by all of your recollections of their history as a kingdom, you have no reason to be enemies. She has not been confirmed by anyone to be even associated with the Concord in any way, let alone an ally to them. You know that a century ago, she fought in the War of Gilded Roses on the side of the Eastern Alliance when they originally fought against Barbarous. You know that back then, she even had a sort of nickname she earned on the battlefield, the Princess of Transience, because her enemies claimed that she would be standing before you one moment, disappear, and then reappear at your flank. But more importantly, and of more immediate concern to you, and you suspect this is likely why they reached out to you, Minlus used to be what Tebadra is now. Minlus was just like you once, a bandit clan who took territory, put their foot down and refused to
they're
give
the
it up.
northern bandits, aren't they?
Yeah, you guys are southern bandits, these are the northern bandits. Which is why they're wearing a lot of furs. They live up in the literally most inhospitable region in the world, basically. But, unfortunately, unlike Tebadra, which is barely over a decade old, Minlus has been around for over a century. Their power has grown mighty, they're skillful diplomats, and they are trying to put their history of thievery and banditry behind them. While they do still rely on thievery for a certain amount of their income, they are relying on it less and less as they're trying to actually turn themselves into a proper kingdom.
Good for them.
Basically, this is kind of they're basically the model for Tebadra, I guess.
Yes, very much so. Minlus even was the one who created that ascension ritual I told you about, where whoever wants to take the throne fights the one who currently has it. And your attention is drawn with that in mind to her missing an eye and her arm seeming to be visibly injured.
So, what brings the Queen of Northern Banditry down to meet the King of Southern Banditry?
She kind of stares at you for a moment before. Well, like I said, and she does actually give a small smile. Not often that one of our kind takes a throne, even less so taking it clean. Are the stories true? You managed to take it without spilling any of the king's blood, at least not yourself.
It is true. Tabedra is a young kingdom. Its ability to survive a conflict like a fight for a throne was questionable.
Well, might be against tradition, but I can't fault you if it worked. She looks around at the city and its people, kind of contemplative for a moment. I come to you as a potential ally. Your king and I never saw eye to eye. Let's put it that way. She runs a hand along the hilt of the two-hander she has at her belt, which again is peace-tied, but still on her person.
Eye to eye. She doesn't have an eye.
She has an eye.
She rakes her gaze over you, seeming like she's sizing you up. You feel this discomforting notion that you're being calculated in some way.
Can I insight that?
Roll insight.
17.
The moment you start trying to read her, you can see her face quirk into a grin, and you realize you were caught. No reason to have your guard up. But I guess there really is no honor among thieves.
I'm sorry, it is something I have learned living amongst thieves and such.
She gives a small nod of acknowledgement.
Also, didn't Caleb practice like insight over the break?
Yeah.
Okay. How do I? Can I give myself that?
Yeah, you should be able to. It should be an option on your character sheet. If it doesn't, then just let me know and I'll do it myself.
Okay. Proficient. There you go.
Yeah, she thinks for a moment again before. I will say this. If the northern and southern bandit clans are to unite, what exactly do you expect that to look like? We're not fighters, and we don't owe you anything.
Well, I do know that this continent is currently threatened.
I've heard.
My current planning was not to do anything too different from what we would normally do. Just more targeted. Trade is, after all, the lifeblood of kingdoms. If every caravan that leaves the Concord members' borders is stolen, it's very hard for them to continue acting as they do.
That it is. She's, again, quiet for a moment. You get the impression she's not exactly talkative before she speaks up again. And if we are to ally ourselves with you, what do you expect us to do for you?
I think, for one, exchanging information we learn in our raids would be beneficial to both of us. And if you were to be part of the alliance, then if the Concord gets upset and decide to try to come for one of us, we have allies in that fight.
Hmm.
And there are certain things that I'm looking to get to improve Tebedra standing. If you were to find any such items, I would be willing to buy them from you.
Hmm. She nods, seeming contemplative. You get the impression your answer actually surprised her. It's, again, she's a hard person to read, but you do see a brief flicker of almost confusion at your requests before she simply gives a small nod. That much I can do. We have a century's worth of loot. I'm sure we can afford to part with some of it. But the first thing you're going to need is nobility that approves of you. That's part of why I'm here. Everyone's going to be asking me what I think of the new king. So I thought I'd come down to find out for myself.
Well, I hope I am able to make a good impression.
You made an impression.
Interesting.
Tell me, do you know where I can find a Elefakir?
I would happen to know. What would be the reasoning?
I have business.
Why did I just get terrified?
She's
What
got
kind of business, if I may ask?
She kind of sighs and is quiet for a moment before. Family business. It's personal.
Well, I could certainly pass it along to them, and is there someone somewhere they could meet you if they wish?
She considers for a moment before giving a nod towards the distant gate across the city. Just outside the western walls. There's some kid painting a mural with their feet out there. We'll meet near
Well,
him.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
You make a habit of knowing every oddball?
In my experience, the oddballs often have special skills.
And as you can see, she once again quirks a much more noteworthy smile. You sound like my brother.
I
Well,
guess in the meantime, you are more than welcome to enjoy the festivities going on tonight.
she closes her eye and gives you a nod. I just might. It's been an honor, Your Majesty. I shall
And
speak
to
highly.
you as well.
She gives a smirk and a nod, seeming like you gave the right response. My squires and I will be camping outside the city. And you made an impression. I'll be sure to pass on what I've learned at the ball. And with that, she raises a hand, and her two squires immediately stand to attention and follow her as she slinks past you and makes her way towards the front gates, presumably returning to her camp, having gotten what she wanted.
the minute she's gone, Lucian's gonna go over to Caleb and just like throw her arms around him and just like give him like the biggest like big sister bear hug because she is drunk as fuck.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Caleb, you can tell by the smell, Lucian's wasted.
Caleb, this party is so cool.
I'm glad you enjoy it. I think
You
maybe
need to
you might
like
have
you need to
enjoyed it a
like
little too much.
you need to enjoy it too, Caleb. I know you have things to do, but you know, your friends are here and we want to party with you. Come on. And she's like forcing him to dance with her.
Caleb was just like, I shall partake for a little bit, but I do have an early morning.
You'll be fine. It's fine. It's fine. Come on.
I guess is the others, like his friends and stuff, are they in the party too?
Everyone except for Jerry.
Well, yeah, we know where Jerry is.
Yeah, we know what Jerry's doing.
Jerry's not much of a party guy, from what I
But
can
yes, with the
gather.
exception of your father and Jerry, as well as Miezdu and the girls, yeah, everyone appears to be here. Except for, and also Zephyr and Pokey.
Mizdu didn't come?
Well, yeah, there's still people at the bar. He can't just drop everything to come.
Fair enough. Maybe Caleb will make some time to stop by there.
Alright. Lutzes and Zephyr, anything noteworthy from the two of you for the night?
Just keeping an eye out.
Also, Caleb will make sure Dimitri knows that he's going to be spending the night at his place. Like with him in the castle and all that, because, you know, he does not want to be alone right now.
Aw.
Which, whether he picks up on your concern or not, he does give you an affirmative, and kind of playfully acknowledges. My lover is the king. I'm done sleeping in alleyways and eating garbage. Now I'm sleeping in the dark corners of castles and eating royal garbage.
I guess if I'm the king, what does that make you now?
King consort?
Eventually.
I better get that in writing.
Oh, I didn't think you'd want to commit to anything already.
This opportunity won't come to me again. I'm taking advantage of it while I can.
Yeah, sounds like a true patron.
We'll see what can be done. But for now, let's enjoy ourselves.
I can do both, but
Let us be,
very well.
let us, as the adults like to say, be young and stupid.
Speak for yourself. Young I can do. Stupid, you'll have to handle that.
Hold on,
Lucian,
can
imagine
Caleb?
Lucian,
I
like,
want Caleb
"No,
to remember something stupid he's done.
I mean, I
Uh,
did just mention that he sleeps in alleyways and literally eats people's trash.
That's
Does that
true.
not count?
Caleb's just like says the person who eats trash.
It's not my fault the cooking around here is terrible.
Yeah. Trust me, if you're going to commit to being a consort, you're going to have to change a lot of things.
Oh, but can't you just change the laws to favor me like all the other kings? And he bats his lashes at you.
I can do things. There are things I can do here in Tepeja, but I'm talking about whenever we have to deal with other kingdoms. Whenever that ball happens, whenever that ball happens, you're going we're going to have to make sure you get washed up real good.
Never mind. I don't want to be your consort anymore. Garbage is fine.
Caleb will just like get and like punch him on the shoulder.
If there's nothing else, Caleb, as you retire to the castle with your consort, Lucian, you while away the night with drink and dance. Zephyr, you spend a quiet evening with your father, and What's-His, you keep a cautious guard over the festivities. Eventually, the night winds down, and you all settle in for sleep. From the sounds of it, it's back in the saddle. You've all had a month, 40 days to relax, prepare and recoup. The war front is holding firm. You have potential new allies among your walls, and who's to say what'll happen tomorrow?
Caleb has lots of plans that he's going to get to as soon as the morning
Mhm.
hits.
Yeah, so with that in mind, you all get a long rest. Lucian, for fun,
Yeah.
make me a con save,
Oh, okay.
just to see if you're
Yeah,
hungover.
we gotta see how hungover she is.
How hungover it? You know what? I'm gonna use D&D Beyond because it'll be funnier.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'll be lower.
It'll be funnier. It's fun.
Yeah,
Constitution.
this is the time where you get out the dice that you know rolls low.
Yeah, pull.
Oh
pull
my
out a-
god! I got a natural 20. What the fuck, D&D Beyond?
Lucian, elvish liquor tends to be a lot stronger than human liquor. So while you are wasted, you are not by any means hungover. In fact, really, by the end of the night, you're already sobering up. It's like a martini for you.
Yeah.
I just pictured her disappointed, like, dang it.
Yeah, just kind of wake up like,
Yeah, bear in mind, elvish wine is so alcoholic that a lot of mortals straight up can't drink it.
oh
They gotta
wow.
water it down.
Yeah, yes, actually.
They gotta dilute that shit. I hate to see what in fortified elvish wine would be like.
I think it would be legally considered a weapon.
it'd be literal poison. That's what they tip their arrows with.
Instant
Zephyr,
drunk shot.
is there anything you would like to do today?
I don't really have any plan. I'm just waiting for the others to decide what the next move is.
Okay. All right. Oh, and one more detail I will add. Because I'm trying to make a habit of doing this now, so I figured I would mention it. In the night, there was some snowfall, and as a
Ooh.
result, there is a thin layer of snow cover around the city.
Ooh.
Caleb just wakes up and is like, I thought we were supposed to start getting into the warmer months.
We are.
Yeah.
She's pretty grouchy about it.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, it's like 40 fucking degrees out.
Then why is there snow?
Well, because now it's in the day. The snow's gonna start melting. It just snowed last night.
Oh, okay, I see.
But when Caleb comes out, can what's his smack him with a snowball?
I
Roll
guess
the hit.
whenever he comes out of the castle.
Yeah.
Which is
What
probably gonna
what
be
would
for,
it be?
not be
Probably
for a little bit.
improvised weapons. Which
Yeah, improvised weapon, dexterity. If you don't have proficiency in improvise, just your dexterity.
It's probably not gonna be for a couple of hours.
No,
though.
yeah, just we're noting it down so that we'll know what happens later.
I don't know if the store will still be there.
18.
store
Noted.
it for
We'll come back
later.
to you.
It just turns into like an ice ball.
Yeah,
It
slush
just
ball.
does like it gives Caleb like a fucking concussion. Gets fucking like tackled by the fucking guards. It's like the fucking. It's like
I am fucking guards at this point.
It is true. You are doing a lot of their job. Anyways, speaking of other than assailing the king once he comes out of his castle, is there anything else you would like to do today?
Just keeping an eye out on everything else. But no, that's about it.
Lucian, anything from you?
I guess I'll use today to get all of my dresses made.
Mm-hmm. All right. Lucian, having placed a few orders over the downtime for dresses you'd like to wear to the ball, they should be ready for pickup by now, and you make your way into town to grab them. You see What's-Is is still keeping a firm guard. Zephyr is God's know where Zephyr goes. But What's-Is, you keep a firm eye on the castle, ready to pack and throw a snowball the moment Caleb exits.
As I pass them by, I'll just give them a good old pat on the back.
how do you spell barbarous again?
BARBAROUS. Hang on, I got it written down.
You got it. I was like, man, y'all come up with like 10 different ways to spell barbarous, and you can't even remember.
Yeah.
Well, no,
love
it is true that you guys like just because you guys spell it incorrectly doesn't mean that I have it written down. I'm just used to seeing it written in front of me. I haven't had to spell it out loud before.
Yeah.
Baris.
Barbaris.
Yes.
Okay, because I
There.
did have to remember our discussion about barbarous.
Speaking of, Caleb, as indeed, judging from the colder than usual air, out the window you can see a snowfall has come to Rosewick. Several people are already out causing mischief in the snow, while other people are simply hawking hot water and blankets to those who need them, likely overpriced. God, it's great here.
So,
As you and Dimitri awake, what would you like to do, Caleb?
I guess Caleb will go to like the place of official business and gather the people who enact shit for whenever he says it.
Uh, you can have those kind of meetings in the square if you wish, but usually back when your father was still in power, he would just use the throne room.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. He'll gather like the. Cause if I understand right, King usually like says something, and then there's the people who actually enact it, right?
It depends on the kingdom, but in the new system you're creating, yes.
Yeah, Caleb was basically gonna like get that going. I think he got the ball rolling with the like kind of advising people like before he was king officially, right?
Yeah.
Which I believe he said, because I think he said Taveja has like 2 nobles basically.
Yeah, it's a bit of a technicality of sorts, but yes, Tabadra has 2 noble families who aren't official royalty. And then, of course, there's things like the military powers. But, generally, the Tabadra family made all the decisions up till now. So that's still going to be a bit of an adjustment for them. But yes, 2 noble families.
Yeah, basically Caleb. So Caleb would have like 1 person from each of them, and then 1 person from each of the cities. That'll be his 4 advisors.
Okay.
Basically, he would just kind of like for the nobles is literally just whoever they pick, and then just kind of like the I guess most the kind of important people of the 2 cities, like if they have like a mayor or something like
Yeah,
that.
they have local lords. So, all right.
So the Lord of Rosewick and the Lord of Fuse, basically, he's hoping that this will give him an ear on like noble concerns and an ear on the people's concerns.
Okay.
Is his hope for this.
Yeah, in theory. All right.
And his whole justification is he's a 14-year-old king. He needs advisors.
Yeah, you are officially the youngest king in Yavik history. The only one who was nearly as young as you when they took power was Queen Blackthorn, who took the throne at 15.
So yeah, I think they can I hope they can understand the necessity of advice.
I mean, given that you're giving them more power than the king ever did, even if they thought it was a bad idea, they're not going to complain.
Basically,
they just went from
basically,
nobodies
as
to
it stands, it's his. Basically, the idea is that they can advise him, but the decision is ultimately his at this point.
Yeah, so I believe constitutional monarchy is what you're creating.
Yeah, in effect.
Did Caleb tell Lucian about?
Oh yes, he will have. He will like. Since he's kind of busy, he'll have a messenger tell Lucian about the person that wants to see them and where they are.
Bigger man, this starts.
And with an apology that he couldn't do it himself. He's very busy.
Yeah, the arc of or starts the trend of we're gonna see Caleb less and less.
He'll try not to make it that way, but sometimes business has to take precedence over
All right,
things.
Caleb.
And what's this will go with Lucy when if she does go?
Okay. Caleb, as you busy yourself with recruiting the scions of the noble families of Tebadra and working with them on appointing representatives from Fuse and Rosewick, it's an adjustment for the Tebadrans, to say the least. They're so used to just unquestioningly following the king's lead. They've never really had individual power like this before.
Yeah, that's part of why for now they're purely in an advisement role. Basically, they have the king's ear, but they can't make decisions completely on their own at this current point in time.
Yeah. So with that, we will circle back to you in just a moment as Lucian. Caleb, you send your messenger with
I guess
word
it's
to
a good
Lucian.
thing that I'm assuming like important people from Fuse came to the coronation, correct?
Yes, yeah, a good chunk of Fuse came, actually. Since Fuse
Okay,
is so
so
well hidden,
that
they didn't
makes
really
it pretty
know.
simple to assemble his advising council, I guess you
Well,
could
first,
call it.
you got to get them to agree on who's going to represent them.
Yeah, obviously.
Caleb, realizing that this process is likely going to take you some time, you simply pass word to Lucian via messenger. And Lucian, a messenger, a Tebadran boy, kind of skinny looking, dark hair, short, bit of a pixie cut going, dark eyes that are in a perpetual squint, approaches you and passes you
I had a really bad thought.
a message from Caleb that while he apologizes for not being able to deliver this in person, he is rather busy with royal affairs at the moment, but informs you that Khatun Minlus wishes to have a meeting with you, and she is currently in an encampment outside of the western wall.
All right, I will give the messenger a silver piece for taking me this message.
He kind of looks at the coin and looks to you like he's genuinely not sure what to make of it before he simply gives you a small nod, although he doesn't blink, and just kind of watches you as what's is from nearby. You can see the messenger deliver this, and if you're willing to abandon your snowball assassination attempt, you can follow Lucian freely.
Yeah, he's willing to give it up.
I mean, technically, if he was
he'll get him
successful in
another
that,
time.
according to like the rules of bandits, if he succeeded at that, he'd be king.
He doesn't want to be
You're
king
not
of
wrong.
Daedra. Oh no, killed by a little snowball.
Lucian paying the messenger, who watches you with odd expression, but you imagine they're grateful.
I'll just be like, yep. You're welcome.
Do you wish to go to the meeting now, or do you have any other business you want to conduct first?
Don't have anything else for this day. Well, not until later on in the night, but nope, that's good.
All right.
Let's go to the meeting, I guess.
All right. Lucian, what's his as you accompany her?
He was gonna say if like because he doesn't exactly know what she's going to. So if she doesn't invite him, he's gonna follow discreetly.
Oh no, if we like end up in the same area, I should just be like, hi.
Yeah,
I haven't seen you in
hey.
a bit. I saw you like watching over us. Like a little guardian angel.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but definitely watching.
Well, if your eyeballs are free, I'm about to go meet some sketchy chick.
Oh yeah, I saw her. Yeah, she's not that sketchy.
Okay,
But
well,
but then again, my dad worked with her, so maybe she is sketchy.
That's comforting.
yeah. You get the impression Lucian is on the same page as that. Like, the expression on her face is like, that there's something there, but I don't think I want to go there right now. And then she'll just turn and head to where they said the meet up.
And
Okay.
I will definitely follow.
Okay. As you make your way to the western wall, you can see that the hole that was there during the battle is currently in the process of being repaired. But the guards simply allow you through the gates. They obviously recognize you.
Oh, is my trio still there?
If you took the time to maintain them.
Of course.
Okay, then yes.
They can stay alive as long as I'm here.
As you make
As
your way...
alive as dead bodies can be.
Very true. As you make your way out of the city, you can see that the cloud cover is incredibly heavy. What's is, you suspect that it'll likely be snowing again later today.
Yes, more opportunities.
The
What
wind
are
is
you on?
rather harsh, but go on.
No, it's just like, what are you on the mountains? As he's like giggling to himself. You said the wind is harsh.
Snowballs.
The wind is harsh, you said.
Outside, the two of you see that other than, the usual guards, there's not a whole lot out here. However, Lucian, you do notice that Jerry is on his back with a paintbrush clutched between his toes, painting a mural on the western wall, on the right side of the gate. Kind of, like opposite of the hole, kind of creating this almost symmetry between the two.
I love it. I'll just be like, good job, Jerry.
Jerry doesn't even look at you to acknowledge that you've spoken to him. Seems like he's really focused.
He's in the zone.
Yeah, he's in
Is
the
it-
zone.
Is it any good?
I was tempted to have you roll for like art critique, but looking it over, I don't imagine you have any reason to complain. The mural depicts swarming ichor beasts circling around Rosewick, and at the top of the walls are all of you. Dual-wielding ionic axes, Lucian casting spells and summoning the dead, Caleb firing a gleaming rifle. Zephyr is not on the wall, but you can see him in the mural illustrated as a red blur slicing through the ichor beasts below.
I love that.
It's an action scene.
Yeah, it's really good.
This boy's going places.
As the two of you look around, other than Jerry, you don't see anyone out here.
Okay, I will, instead of using my passive, I will actively look around using my eyeballs.
Roll
And
perception.
I will help.
Roll perception with advantage.
On myself.
I'll be checking for tracks in the snow and stuff.
Guidance on myself. So I will also add that. First one was a 17. And the second one was a 23. Plus, what is my guidance again right now? D4.
Look with your special eye.
Plus 3. 26.
All right. Looking around, you don't see any immediate sign of presence. However, you spot and direct Lucian's attention to. There are 2 prints in the snow, heading off into the southern Sprintwood.
You said she wasn't sketchy.
Yeah,
How is this not sketchy?
well, she is, the queen of thieves up north.
Wait, she is what now?
Didn't
Well,
Caleb tell them who
he-
they
No!
were?
No,
Yeah, you just said the
her.
Khan of Minloose wants to meet with you.
They don't know who Minloose is?
Obviously not.
Like it's fine. They're on our side as far as all my knowledge goes. They were with the Western Alliance last time they fought.
That is incorrect.
Yeah,
Eastern Alliance.
Lucy is just like, I don't think that's right, but you're allowed to think that. Should we follow
Wait,
those
weren't they weren't they?
No, you did have the thing right. It's just it was the Eastern Alliance, not the
Yeah,
Western one.
yes, like
Oh,
they were east, not west.
Western,
West is what
Eastern.
you guys are. East was back when Gyogre, Minlus, and all the Eastern empires teamed up.
I know after 300 years that all blurs together, but come on.
Yeah, what's this was a piddly 200 when that war happened.
He was in his early teens at that point.
I was a kid. Shut up, Lucian. Not all of us studied.
He definitely
So,
didn't.
do you guys follow the
But
prince?
Oh, yeah.
it'll be fine, Lucian. Come on, I'm here with you.
All right.
I
Which
feel like this is the part
probably
where
doesn't help.
I feel like this is the part where you ask me where my adventurous side is, and I'm like, I'm not an adventurer.
Oh, trust me, I already know that.
If you guys wish to follow the tracks, both of you roll survival.
Oh. No.
Okay.
I literally just said I'm not an adventurer. You don't imagine this is gonna go well.
Well, let's find out.
Da 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 da.
D&D Beyond, stop being a dick. Survival?
Yes.
15 for me.
Okay, 15 from you.
Survival.
It's all the way at the bottom.
18.
Okay. The two of you follow the prince. They lead further into the Sprintwood, a few miles in. Luckily, the snow is not so thick that it slows you down. However, by about mid-morning, by the time Caleb has finished his preparations for the council and the two of you are about halfway to your destination, a new snowfall does begin to come down. It's not super heavy or anything. It's not a blizzard like last time. It's just it looks like you're going to get a little bit of snow.
All right. It's fine.
But eventually,
Can I just, like, as a point of interest, Lucian will turn the her ring of warmth on.
Of course.
And don't forget, she has that broom, so she doesn't have to walk around in the snow.
Yep. I'll also stay on the broom.
Lucian,
You watch the shit.
hopping on your broom to get out of the snow, especially as it gets to get higher and higher. You cradle your ring of warmth and follow What's-Is as he trudges through the snow.
On a one-horse open sleigh. Sorry.
Luckily, you guys managed to track it solidly enough to not lose track of it before the tracks are buried. And you find that the tracks are leading you to a familiar spot. Dr. Knight's old hut, before you guys moved her into the apothecary in town.
Oh yeah, by the way, did she come back or did she fucking leave?
Now, since the no battle happened, she hadn't left yet, but she said she was going to be running experiments because since you guys have taken an interest in essentially triple Ichor beasts, so she's doing some research to see what the deal is there, since the only people who experimented with that did it without her permission.
Fair enough.
But yes, you see that these two sets of prints lead you into Dr. Knight's old hut.
The oldie hut.
Right. Let's go.
All right. Lucian, opening the door. There's a distinct click. And Lucian, as your eyes adjust to the monochrome darkness of the inside of the hut, You were able to make out 3 things in rapid succession.
Oh,
1, the Kanun sitting cross-legged on the ground. Her sword is no longer peace-tied, but laid across her lap. To her left is the female squire, who has 2 daggers in hand and is crouched on the ground, almost trying to hide in the shadows, looking at you. And directly in front of you is the messy-haired man with missing teeth. And that click you heard was him pulling back the hammer of his pistol as he levels it at your head.
I'll just kind of like push my forehead to the barrel. Well, hello there.
He looks a little he looks immediately put off by this, but he quiets as you hear a click of the tongue from the Kanun. That's enough. Strine, they're guests. The man, going by Strine, uncocks the pistol and steps away, kind of grumbling to himself in thieves' cant.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. You don't survive where we come from without staying on your guard. Sit down. Wherever, it doesn't matter.
I will sit right across from her. Crisscross applesauce.
What's this?
I will stand, probably like her compatriots are, but behind Lucian.
All right. Lucian, you sit across from the con, and What's-His crosses his arms as he stands behind you. What's-His, you can see that the girl kind of stares at you and does not leave her crouched position. The man behind you simply holsters his pistol and puts his hands on his belt, seeming grouchy, but shuts the door to keep out the wind and snow. Lucian, you can see that the Kanun has changed her outfit from the formal wear she was wearing at the party. You see, despite the cold, she seems completely unbothered by it. Her arm is still bandaged, but you can see that she's wearing an open black and gray vest that matches her kingdom's colors, a scarf of the same colors wrapped around her neck, the only indication that she's cold. Her pants are ripped, but they appear to be leather. Her boots are golden. It kind of mismatches the ensemble. You imagine it's stolen. And I will say her vest is rather, shall we say, open. And you can see that she's wearing yellow wrappings around her chest. Her hair is currently tied up in a ponytail, although it's very messy and improperly done.
Lucian just kind of puts her hands in her lap and meets her gaze with a very like gentle expression. So, what brings you to the south?
Heard there was a new king of thieves. Had to see it for myself. Bandits and Yav haven't had a king in a long time. Not a proper one.
I kind of give a very soft smile. I think that it will suit him.
Interesting.
How do you find that interesting?
She's quiet for a moment before. Just interesting is all. I'm keeping an eye on things. Figuring out which is the right side to be on. I need to see if the stories were true. So far, I'm not sure if I'm impressed. But I'm not going to make the same mistakes that he did. Which is why I'm here with a peace offering.
She doesn't say anything. She looks fully attentive to her.
I know that you're going after Barbarous. You understand what that means, right? It took all of the Eastern Kingdoms teaming up just to whittle him down to where he is now. I hope you're not expecting an easy victory.
No.
Then you're at least half as smart as I've heard. That's good. That keeps you alive. you know what they used to call me back during the war?
Would I know?
Roll history.
Okay.
And can I roll history too? I know you said it, I just can't remember it.
And yes, roll history.
Did not roll very well. 12.
And given that you were in the military during the war, and also as a, even if you don't remember it exactly, that you remembered it being mentioned, I will give you advantage on this.
Nice.
All right, Lucy in history?
I got a 12. I did not roll very well.
It's okay. What's this?
18.
Lucian, your specialty was on studying the dead of the war, not on figuring out how they got there, other than the autopsy level.
Yeah.
So you're not exactly familiar with her, but Watts is, I would say, especially, I'm granted a little bit of an assumption just based on the kind of person Watts is. I feel like you would have found the stories of interesting people in the war fascinating growing up.
Oh, definitely.
And,
Almost like a icon of his, I guess you could say.
oh yeah, and one of those icons would have been the Princess of Transience, said to be fast, so fast, in fact, that she would simply appear and disappear on the battlefield. However, that title also was bestowed because she was known to be somewhat, shall we say, flighty. If Caleb is a true Tebadrin, by your remembrance of what they were like during the war, Zephyr would have been a Minlusian. The Tebadrins are fundamentally able to be kotoed if you threaten them. Put something dangerous in front of them and they'll go in the opposite direction every time, like two repelling magnets. But Minlus is a bit more unpredictable. Minlus is the kind of ally in the war who would abandon you at the drop of a hat, but then come back later at a strategically useful time. They're not cowards. They're just, well, to put it bluntly, selfish. They have a plan, and either you get in line or you're a chess piece.
Okay.
The Tebadrins think closer to how Caleb thinks. The Minlusians all think how Zephyr thinks. Always have a plan. It's even in their motto. Their creed, unlike the very basic Tebadrin lie, steal, cheat, survive, the creed of the Minlus cannot. Never stop moving forward.
They're like sharks.
Very much so, yes. They are the sharks of Yavik banditry. But in the end, she was an ally, and you remember the Emperor spoke very highly of her, even considering her one of his most trusted advisors. So, for all of her flighty nature, she clearly had friends.
Yeah.
So now that we have all that, Lucian will just kind of give a funny expression. I'm sorry, I'm not good at military stuff, and she'll look over to Wus's.
If I remember correctly, it was the Princess of Transience, correct?
She gives a smirk and a nod. I never told anyone how I did it exactly. Girls gotta have secrets. But you managed to persuade King Tebadra to your side, or at least to stay away from the opposite one. So, like I said, I'm here to gauge what my options are. I'm not a fool. I know that a new war is coming. Barbarous is involved, I'm just not sure how. And I'm guessing that's why you're going after him.
Yes, I could tell you, but I would need some information in exchange.
That's reasonable. What do you want to know?
Well,
I can tell you.
well, she'll kind of look to Gil for some help. She looks like Like she's like, help me, I don't know what to ask for
Yep.
right now.
Wisdom and knowledge is your area of expertise. I'm muscle and bronze. That's it.
Thanks. Blesses.
Well,
Let's
I
start
know.
with
I know
why
my limitations.
let's start with why you are here and go from there.
Well, she already said she was here because of Caleb,
Well,
and
Caleb
that she wants to
said,
make a deal to figure out treaty.
Caleb said in his note that there was something about family.
I wanted to meet you. I've heard about you. I don't know if you remember, but our family go back a ways. More than I think you realize.
She'll kind of frown a little bit. Now that I'm stabilized, can I try to think back? Do I remember her? Do I remember anything like that?
Roll history.
Hey.
I know she was in with my dad. I don't know if she was in with the Elevateers.
Well, they were definitely allies with Wicket, which the Elefikirs would have been living in at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Maybe she
what?
was betrothed to Lucifer.
Wouldn't that be something?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see. Natural 1, so 11.
She is not familiar to you. Not that you can remember, anyway. You're not sure if it's like in one of your many past lives, or if it's just a matter of it's just been too long and you don't remember her well. Plus, who knows? Maybe back whenever you knew her, she had both eyes. Maybe that's throwing you off.
I'll kind of look at her and I'll give a look, like a really long look of like looking around, like her body, her face, her like any recognizable like birthmarks or whatever, and just finally go to her eye and just, I'm sorry, ever since I came back, things are a little fuzzy for me.
That's all right. I wouldn't expect you to know me. I make a habit to not be known as much as I can. But let's just say I have a vested interest in making sure you make it out of this.
To kind of give a tilt of a head.
Which is why I want to offer you my help.
I'm listening.
They called me the Princess of Transients because they thought I was fast. At this point, the female squire next to her kind of rubs her arm, the uninjured one on her left, and seems kind of spooked a bit. And, are you sure we should tell them? No point keeping secrets. Knowing these guys, they'll find it anyway. The secret is just not telling anyone how you get from place to place. During the war, the Emperor gave me a job. Visit every city, enemy and ally. Infiltrate and leave my mark behind. And she sketches a small rune on the ground. Lucian, this is familiar to you for two reasons. One, it is the mark of Houseman Luce. An eye with the eyelashes forming wings, and the pupil is a crosshairs. The design itself is black against a gray background with red trim. But seeing her draw it out on the ground like this, and being a spellcaster, you can read runes. You're aware of it being her crest, but you're not aware of the arcane significance. Lucian, this is a rune for a teleportation circle. like the one you tried to make before you realized you did not have the time it would take to craft one.
I'm gonna memorize it.
She gives a little bit of a smirk as she sees you studying it so intently.
All I need is a minute.
At 59 seconds, wipe.
She smiles and I don't have them everywhere, but I had enough time to maintain most of them, at least long enough to make them permanent. I still use them from time to time, getting around quietly. It pays to keep an eye on things when people don't know that's what you're doing.
I'll just kind of like look from the arcane rune to her, and like she's just like so happy, and like her face is lighting up.
She smirks and
I think I can tell you everything then. Everything to me, so I want to help you too.
she raises her hand with a grin. Talk away, but let me finish proposing what I have to offer you. I have one of these circles in Toradana, the barbarous capital. It's underneath the castle. Nobody but me and the Emperor knows it's there. If you can prove to me that you can keep my people out of this war, I will let you and your friends make free use of my teleportation circles. She looks to you, What's-Is, and gives a small grin. I also happen to have one in Gyoger.
Now that is impressive indeed. Once I get to actually possibly take over Gyoger, you'll have to come by and visit.
Make it a place worth visiting and I'll consider it.
Oh,
Lucian
there's
gives
going
a
to be a
snicker.
lot of changes.
I have 4 of these circles around Yav. Emporia, Gyoger, Barbarous, and Furter.
Where is that one?
Furter is at the farthest eastern range.
Can you write this down for me?
Yes.
I'll make note of them later.
Pretty good variety there.
Like I said, it pays to keep an eye on things. I wanted to make one in Aegis, but even I couldn't sneak past them.
Yeah. Something, aren't they?
But I made it work. Set one up in Furter. It might not be Aegis anymore, but it was once. Still lets me get in and out of the mountains easily enough. And yeah, just sent a list. Those are all of the kingdoms where she has a teleportation circle. That, if you do what she asks, she will allow the party to use to teleport between those locations freely without any time or resources on your part.
All right. I will.
And-
I'll have Wes's take a notebook out of my bag and write all of the places down, and then I'm gonna look at her. I guess. Are you ready to hear it all?
Whatever you
So
think
pretty
is
much
fair.
what she wanted is just keep her people out of it.
Yeah, basically, she does not want Minloose to fight the Concord. You're not sure
Right.
if she's scared of them or if she just does not want to be involved, period. But basically, she's smart enough to realize it's at least worth hearing you guys out rather than side with the Concord. So basically, she's saying, Here's your options. I will surrender Minloose to the Concord if they keep me out of it, and I'll be your enemy. Or you help me, and I just become a neutral faction who won't join them, but the only help I'm going to provide you is teleportation, not military.
Which is more than enough for me.
Yeah.
But I was just gonna basically give her a summary of what we know, and then after giving her the down low, I will follow up with. So you tell me, how can I help you? How can I prove myself to you? Tell me what you want me to do.
I need proof that you can take these guys on without my help. I'm not asking you to do anything different than what you were already doing. March your armies to Barbarous, and I'll be watching. Take him down, and I'll help you. Fail, or make too much of a mess along the way, and I'm going to reconsider my options.
Well, if we fail, well,
Kind of gives she kind
probably
of gives
dead.
yeah, she kind of gives like a rub at the back of her neck. Well, I can't really promise it won't be a little bit too messy because we tend to be a little bit chaotic sometimes, but the rest sounds okay to me.
Fair enough then. She gives a smile and holds out her hand. You can see she's wearing one black fingerless glove, one white fingerless glove, and holds it out to you.
I'll look to Wes's to see if he agrees if I should shake her hand.
Yeah. He'll give a nod,
All right.
and he'll also be very careful as he does this. He's going to let them know, hey, I have a gift for this as well. A little something we picked up in the Underdark. And he'll pull out one of the laser pistols and present it as a gift to her.
This very visibly gets her attention, and she kind of takes it and inspects it curiously.
Can I say one thing as I shake my her hand? Can I use thaumaturgy to just like give a little surge of energy like a joy buzzer?
And don't let the dwarfs know I gave you that. They don't think I have any more of them.
There's a lot of things the dwarves don't know about me. And she seems to have forgotten that she was holding her free hand out as she, in her other hand, is investigating the rifle curiously. And as Lucian grabs it and does that little jolt, you hear a clatter as she drops the rifle and as she draws her two-hander. And Lucian, you can feel it pressed against your throat, and her expression is maniacal before she kind of takes a deep breath and realizes that you didn't actually injure her.
Yeah. She just like gets deep intake of breath as it's like pressed against her throat. Like I was just fucking with you.
Lucian, remember what I told you earlier about how, yes, they're good allies, but my father used to work with them, but they are good allies that my father used to work with them? Yeah, you don't fuck with them.
I was just trying to be friendly. Isn't this how you make friends?
That's how you die in this case.
She sighs and sheaths her blade, seeming a little irritated. The female squire next to her just clutches at her arm and just, that wasn't funny.
I'll look at the arm. Does it look like I can heal it?
Most likely, yeah. The injury seems fairly recent. Make a medicine check to see if you can
Okay.
gauge in more detail how bad it is.
Yeah, I'll just kind of get closer. I'm sorry.
Do I see her try to do this?
Yeah, of course, but please don't stop me when I'm in the
Oh,
middle.
I'm not. Just ask.
Yeah, he's more just curious to see if he knows what's going on.
Okay. I got a 26 for my medicine check, and she's just gonna kind of like approach her like an injured animal, just like it's okay. Can I try to help you? Are you? Did I hurt you? I'm so sorry.
Just startled me. I don't recommend making a habit of it.
I'm
And
going to see if she'll let me put my hands on her so I can put some magic in her.
And Lucian, I will say, as you get closer to examine the wound, the squire kind of moves to stop you, but the Canoon holds her hand out to block her. You can see that beneath the bandages, this is a textbook. It looks like a gunshot wound that got infected.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just put my hands on her and recite a prayer. I will do. Is it pretty superficial?
The wound is pretty superficial. The infection, less so.
Okay. So I'm gonna have to do.
And she still didn't ask.
Well, I'm pretty much giving her an opportunity to
Yeah, so she has the freedom to back away if she's not into it.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'll gently put my hands on her just so I'm try not to hurt her. My magic go, and I will do cure wounds at third.
All right. Lucian, as you pump her with healing magic, she watches you suspiciously, but does allow you to do so. You can see
18. 18
Alright.
health.
All right. You can see the wound closes. The infection is still visible, but the wound itself is no longer there.
Does
And
it look like the infection is like festering, or does it look like I need to like do restoration for poison?
yes, you would have to do lesser restoration to cure the infection.
All right, I'll do that on top of that.
All right. As you close the wound, you then start casting lesser restoration, saying prayers to your goddess to heal this bandit's wounds. Her suspicious expression kind of falters slightly as she sees you not only treating the wound, but curing the infection. And as she kind of wiggles the arm and realizes she's not in pain anymore, she kind of squints at you suspiciously. Why? I
Why
haven't
not?
done anything for you yet.
She kind of sits back on her heels and just looks at her. Why not? You're a living, breathing person. You deserve to live just as much as everybody else does.
She kind of scoffs a little bit and looks to the side. Her squire runs her hands up and down her arm, seeming curious and unconcerned. The man in the back just gives a yawn and stretches.
I'm sorry if I hurt you.
No,
Didn't,
just... Can I ask you something?
of course.
I heard you helped Sundragon.
She gives a very soft smile for that she got.
You're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, but don't worry, we got the gist of it. You can see her eye narrow as she studies Lucian's expression with this insane scrutiny.
Like, I don't know if you guys heard me, but she had a soft expression, and she's kind of like playing with the ring that Aggie gave her.
Question, Matthew. Would Sundragon and I keep forgetting her actual name, but the girl in front of us, are they related?
Roll history.
I do remember Sundragon mentioned she had sisters in the area.
She'll just kind of respond, "Yeah,
16.
we really saved her, and we've had a really good time together."
So it would seem. Her eyes are on that ring and furious. What's his?
Red.
You know that there is rumor of Sundragon's family. Nobody actually really knows much about who Sundragon's relatives actually are. All that's known is that her parents came to Yav not long after the War of Gilded Roses, invaded, conquered, established. Not long after, Agnes was born, and she took the throne from her parents. However, since they arrived, there has been rumors of their parentage. Some claim that Blackthorn and Sundragon are related in some way, possibly sisters. However, what's is you were privy to one political rumor. There was no evidence for it beyond very circumstantial things. But you have heard rumors that not the Canoon, which is who you're speaking to, but the Khan of Minlus. There is speculation among the Yavik nobles that the Khan of Minlus might be related to Sundragon in some way. Either a distant relative or possibly even her father. But again, these are just rumors. They don't look anything alike, and there is nothing but political rumors circulating about this.
But she recognizes the ring on Lucian's finger.
And seems pissed that Lucian is that close to her.
So jealous. Ooh.
And then Lucian will look back up to her, kind of seeing the anger on her face. Did I do something wrong?
Her eyes shuts and she takes a deep breath. The squire pats her on the arm before she opens her eye again. No. You did what you're supposed to do. Thank you for helping her. She seems like she's really forcing herself to say those words.
Of course, I love her.
She takes another deep breath after you say that, shutting her eye again before reopening it. So we have a deal?
I would say so.
All right, then. I recommend making your way north. There's a naturally forming land bridge that can get you from here to Barbarous without being seen. Otherwise, you'd have to take the long way through the valley. Take out Barbarous without making a mess, and I'll find you again. I'll be there in Toradana. If you make it inside, you can come find me.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
She lays her blade back across her lap, still seeming like she's calming down a little bit. Tell me. I know she's out there at Toradana's walls. If it comes down between a choice between you and her, which one are you going to take?
At all cost, her. She lives. But, I know it is important for her to have a great battle. And if that's what she wants to go, I won't stop her.
She kind of leans back, seeming taken aback by your answer. After a moment, she finally simply nods. I guess that's true. That's all I have to offer you for now. We'll be waiting for you in Toradana.
She kind of gives a nod to that.
Thank you for sharing all of that with me.
She kind of meets her eye again. Thank you for sharing all of this with me.
Don't thank me yet.
Yeah, we gotta win first.
Think of it as only your first thank you. There's more to come.
She kind of gives a small snort before her two squires flock to her side as she steps over the rune she had drawn on the ground and gives you
Enjoy the pistol.
I will. Thank you. I know somebody who'd get a real kick out of this. See you on the battlefield. She draws her
Yes,
blade.
you will.
and with a flourish, you see a flash of red and black. And the three of them are gone.
As soon as they're gone, I'm gonna look over to Gil and be like, "Oh my god, I thought I was going to die."
You probably would have if she hadn't been so calm.
I think she kind of likes me. Like,
I kind of think she doesn't.
I think she wants to hate me, but she doesn't.
We need to get your head checked on that one.
Yeah, probably.
She needs her head
she's
checked in general. She just tried to
jealous
fucking
of you.
buzz her the fucking queen of bandits.
She was just trying to be friendly.
That's not friendly!
No, she's obviously jealous of you, Lucy. I think she's in love with Sun Dragon as well.
I think so too.
But also, I have to admit, that was so cool getting to see her in real life and actually see her like use that ability.
Yeah, boy.
Like, I heard about it, read about it, never actually seen it like up close. Like that's awesome.
He's read about it, learned about it. He's probably been asked to make plans against it.
Okay, and
Oh
then
yes.
I will use the remainder of my downtime to do it as we discussed with Dr. Knight, and then at some point I do still want to do the other thing we talked about.
Okay.
And this time, has Caleb managed to gather his advisors?
Yeah, I was about to circle back to you. I will just say as one last side note before we go, on your end, yes, actually, as a fun little detail, while the Emperor loved the cons of Minloose, your father fucking hated them.
Who does his father not hate?
Well, although to be fair, his father at least had a legitimate reason this time. He basically considered it like bad form for the Alliance to be fighting alongside bandits, because he basically wrote off the cons as being, undisciplined and useless. Like basically, oh, what can they do that my soldiers couldn't do better and with more discipline?
Well,
Like,
obviously, put a teleportation circle underneath their entire fortress.
Oh yeah, no. She as he's saying, "Oh, they're useless. There's nothing they can do that I couldn't do better." They're literally sneaking around under his nose, making a teleportation circle underneath his fortress, so that they can just keep teleporting in and out as much as they want. Then never mind. They did that every day for a year without getting caught.
Yeah, once this will be looking for that circle just to see where it's at when he
And
gets
apparently
control.
Apparently, they have one outside of Rosewick now too.
That one's not permanent. They have to do it every day for a year for it to be permanent. They just basically made one so they could teleport to one of their other ones.
Oh, okay.
But hey, she might make it permanent.
I could, yeah.
eventually.
After some time.
She ends up warming up to you. We'll see. She seems interested in being. She seems like she'd rather be your friend than your enemy, at the very least.
Oh, that's smart.
That said, one last thing before we check in on Caleb. Zephyr, I know it's been a lot of stuff on everyone else's end. So, is there anything you would like to do before we cut to Caleb? I just want to make sure you get a chance at least.
I get it. I mean, I don't have any plans besides, again, like I said, go buy some more potion.
All right.
Oh my god, I'm gonna go tell Agatha I literally joy buzzed her ex. Oh my god, she's gonna kill me.
Wait, so you're gonna message her about who you met and what you did?
I'm thinking about it. Come back to me.
Yeah, we'll
I'll
circle
think
back
about
to
it. I'll think about it.
because that's gonna be very important for me to know.
I'm literally actively thinking about it.
No, I was more just mentioning, because I actually am gonna need to know that to know how Agnes responds, because that's gonna be a thing.
I know that's gonna be a thing. That's why I'm like, do I want to do it over text or do I want to do it when we get there?
Over text.
Caleb, it takes a lot of effort. The Tevadrians are by no means a united people, but with some effort, you are able to assemble the nobles you're looking for. 2 thieves, one from Rosewick, one from Fuse, to represent the people, and 2 nobles, the scions of the merchant families that helped found Tebadra when Tebadra Farms was constructed. As you gather your representatives, they're shabby and uncoordinated, but they're the best you're going to get. Do you have a first meeting agenda?
Actually, yes, he does.
All right. As you sit everyone down, they all sit in the throne room with you and prepare to listen.
I thank y'all for gathering today. I know it was a bit of a mess getting this all put together, but hopefully now things can work a lot more smoothly. I am a young king after all. I thought it would be best if I had some assistance. So, I guess the first matter, one I have discussed with the general as well. Caleb would want the general to be present as well.
Noted.
And so, the first matter of business is there, as you know, I don't know how official the king made it, but I intend for Tobago to be more active in its participation in this Western alliance. After all, the Concord has proven itself a danger to us. It is only logical that we should work with the enemies of them.
The advisors all nod, seeming relatively in agreement on this.
And so, I feel it is necessary, with their current campaign and the proximity of the one they are against in Barbarous, it is necessary for us to aid in this, to show that we will be participating, and to hopefully pacify a potential threat immediately on our border. And so it will be necessary to, well, bring together some people to do that.
The representatives of Rosewick and Fuse look to each other. The representative of Rosewick is a Tebadran raider, dressed in stolen fineries from a recent raid.
Does Caleb know his name? Did he introduce himself?
Yes, he would have introduced himself to you as Travis T.
Is there a concern?
Not as such, my lord. More. He kind of thinks for a moment. Eventually, the representative of Fuse speaks up next. We think we might be able to have something to offer for you here, Your Majesty. We're just worried if we're going to be able to muster the kind of troops we'd be needing to break through a battle line like that.
Well, luckily, we will not be standing alone. The general has said that it may be that it would be most beneficial for Tebadrans to work with our allies rather than trying to go off on our.
We'll be counting on those allies aiding us, Your Majesty. Nobody's ever made it that deep into the valley before.
And I would like you to be assured that standard payment for anyone who joins shall be in place, obviously. They will be giving, after all, to do this, they will have to be giving up time to raid. So, has the king previously had to raise an army before?
Not really. He usually just puts together little raiding parties and sends them out to bother people.
And I'm assuming the raiding parties are usually paid solely on what they find in the raid,
Yeah,
right?
essentially, yeah, there's a little finder's fee, and then whatever you don't take from the finder's fee goes to the king.
Does Minlus have a standard for raising an army, a standard rate?
Roll history.
Study. I am proficient in that. Okay, it's gonna be a 17.
Yes. After they became the Minlus Cannot, similar to what you're doing with Tebedra, the Kanun rapidly tried to separate herself from the association with banditry. So while her soldiers were still fundamentally bandits, they actually had a standard pay, wages, standardized equipment. They weren't just a bunch of randos. They were a proper army that just happened to also all be bandits. That they are paid 4 silvers a week. Or no, sorry. Yeah, no, actually, yeah, that's right. 4 silvers a week.
To my knowledge, since our previous king never, raised a proper force, I guess we'll have to look to the other bandit kingdom for a standard.
Minlus sets a good example for our kind.
So I believe, if I remember correctly, the standard pay that Minus offered was 4 silvers a week.
You can see the 2 noble Scion give a nod, and one of them even pipes up. You recognize this as the Scion of the Cheddar family. I've heard that whenever one of them gets promoted to lieutenant, that gets raised up to 2 gold.
I think I believe if we are able to make significant gains for ourselves, we should be able to afford that. Speaking of gains, I did have an idea of what we could get out of it. If we are successful with our allies defeating Barbarous, I'm assuming a division will be necessary.
Everyone nods at this. They understand warfare well enough to get that concept.
So, I was going to put forward the idea that we seek out the cities that are relatively close to us. Bullhammer and Darkrise.
This seems to calm the military advisors, who seem a lot more confident about their ability to raid Bullhammer and Darkrise as opposed to Toradana. That is doable. We'll have to be a bit more thorough than usual, but it's doable. Yes, I'm inclined to agree. I'm certainly open. But the 2 nobles seem a little concerned, and the one who had spoken up before, a rather heavy-set man with thin black hair, a pair of spectacles, and dressed in all Tebadran, well, thanks to you, Tebadran, kind of gold-tinted clothes. But there is the concern that we have to consider: can we afford to raise an army this way, especially in the event of failure?
Is the guy who overlooks the treasury present?
You didn't ask for him to be there, but you can easily call him up.
Yeah, his name was Morris, right?
Yeah, Morris.
Well, I guess it could. I guess there is someone in this castle who would have a good idea of how much wealth is in possession of. And he'll have one of the guards. Can you fetch Morris for us, please?
Oh, Your Majesty. Right away, Your Majesty. As they run down to fetch Morris, the general surprisingly speaks up. There is another matter I wish to bring to your attention, Your Majesty.
Go ahead, General.
Our scouts on the border of Tebedra Farms. We have been monitoring to ensure that the enemy army does not return for a sneak attack. While that has not been the case as of yet, there is another concern that I thought should be brought to your attention. We have seen Agesian dwarves going in and out of the Bader farms, making their way to the northern coast. They're carrying barrels. We don't know full of what yet.
We should have our scouts see if they can't learn more. And that does bring me to another concern I wish to bring up. Matthew, what was the name of the former leader in Tabaja that killed?
The former leader of Tabadra that you killed.
Yeah, he was I think he was like a general, right? I think he was.
Oh, yes, him. Here, let me pull up his name. But yes, I remember who you're talking about. Give me just a hot second. I gotta get to that document. It's way back in like Arc 3. But while I'm doing that, you can go ahead and say what you want to say, and I'll just give you the name once I have it. I just gotta pull it up. Like I
As
said.
you know, in the past, Tabaja has traditionally had two main generals, one for the attack and one for the defense, if I remember correctly.
That is correct, Your Majesty.
Considering the, you got the name yet?
I'm working on it. Again, just go. Again, it's several arcs back. I'm almost there. I had to get like several folders deep.
From what I understand, what's the lizard general's name again, too?
Volpine.
I believe General Volpine would probably prefer to be part of the offensive in Bob. He's been telling me how he's been itching for a fight.
He licks his lips prominently. Everyone kind of edges away from him a little bit.
You got the name?
Dude, I'm working on it. I'll give it to you as soon as I have it.
Well, it's like I can't really continue.
You can't remember every
Don't
person
get it
you've
pretty
ever
clear. He didn't exactly
killed.
give a shit about murdering him. Just say like that guy I murdered who I don't give a shit about.
With the death of one of our generals, an
General
unfortunate.
Wicker.
With the death of General Wicker recently in unfortunate circumstances, it will be necessary for Tabedra to select a new general for the defense.
Well, I've identified several of our raiders that would be capable, unless you had someone in mind, Your Majesty.
I would like to see who. I would like to see the options.
Very well, Your Majesty. I'll order them to the square tomorrow morning. You can examine them and decide who you think is the most fit.
Very well. And
At
that
this point,
is also another reason why I wanted to this council. I intend to, just as the Queen of Sun Dragon and the Queen of Wyborn. I think it's Wyborn that's there, right?
That's where.
That's in Barbarous.
Oh, yes, or at least in theory.
Just as I've heard, the leaders of our allies, Sun Dragon and Wyborn, have gone to the front myself as well. So I need someone to maintain the peace while I'm gone, obviously. I do have access to someone who knows how to use methods of quick travel if a decision is needed to be made. But otherwise, just make sure the raids are going out and the gold is coming in.
All of them in unity for this one respond. Yes, Your Majesty.
Have
At
they?
this point,
Okay, yeah, I was about to ask.
yeah, at this point, the guards return with Morris in tow, and Morris falls into a deep, respectful bow. What is it you seek of me, Your Majesty?
As the one who watches over the, I guess, treasury in the castle, I figured you would have a pretty good idea of how much is in there, correct?
40,806 gold, exactly.
And I'm guessing that would probably, let's see. So in silver, that was 46,000 gold, right?
Yes.
So
And
times 10 for silver, right?
yeah, because 10 silvers to a gold, so.
And then 4
silvers a week, so I guess.
Let's say we had like how many were we able to gather for the defense?
Let me pull that document up.
Welcome to the
I think
realities
it's
of
like
being.
300 or so, almost 400.
This one's faster fine. 353 Tebadrins came to the defense.
So let's say we're able to get like a third of that to volunteer for this. So like about 100. So that'd be 400 silver a week.
So 40 gold a week.
Yeah,
That's
40
not
gold
bad.
a week.
Divided by 400 silver per week. Yeah, we could maintain that kind of army for a very long time. According to this, we could maintain it for 1,150 weeks.
Well, also,
So
you're forgetting. You're doing so. You have forgotten some math. You gotta subtract your money.
Still, that's many years.
so
Because
yes.
it's 52 weeks to it. Like, for 4 silvers, if we do like 4 silvers, like a week, that would be like each soldier would be getting 208 silver a year.
Yep. Once again, puts into perspective how rich adventurers are, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the
I
first
think
thing that went through my
with
head was, just a little
admittedly,
over 20 gold.
admittedly, doing math very quickly in my head, we should be able to support a decently sized group of soldiers for quite a while, my math.
Shall I divert the treasury funds to raising an army then?
I guess I'll ask one more time. Does my advisors agree?
I think so, Your Majesty. If we take that pass, we can ambush them from the south. They won't see it coming. My scouts will determine the dwarves' intent. Make it past them, and indeed, there will be plenty to feast upon.
And I think it was the nobles who were concerned about the money, right?
Yeah, the nobles don't seem jazzed about the idea of potentially gambling Tebadra's money on a the most ambitious raid in history.
Do the noble advisors still have some concerns?
As long as the money is coming out of the treasury, Your Majesty, then I suppose we are willing to try it.
Besides, if you are successful and can acquire Bullhammer, I believe it is a coastal city, is it not?
Indeed it is, sir.
We've always been raiding trade. Maybe we should try making some money from it.
That does seem to persuade the nobles a bit more. They kind of look to each other and nod. You can hear the one who's speaking whisper to the other. Being able to shift our business to piracy could be profitable. All right, Your Majesty. We'll try this plan of yours. However, there is one other concern my compatriot and I would like you to assuage before we are willing to advise you on this plan further.
Very well. What is it?
What do you intend to do about the dragons?
What is he talking about?
Your Majesty, for clarification, we're not sure exactly why. We thought perhaps you could lend a clarifying voice to the matter. Over the past few months, draconic raids have been increasing in frequency. It's actually becoming more common for travelers to be harassed by dragons than bandits now.
Huh.
We don't know what their endgame is or why, but the nobles are right. Even if we secure the city, if we can't safely travel to and from it, not to mention the danger our ships would be in with the amount of bronze dragon attacks we've been seeing, can you guarantee our safety from the beasts?
Caleb will kind of look to Joe and be like, do you think we can assign some scouts to try to figure this mystery out as well?
I will have them report to me on the activity of the Agesians and search the coastlines, see if they cannot identify a pattern with these false dragons. He licks his teeth.
We shall. We shall have our best looking into this. They are right. We cannot secure our trade to gain enough.
We are supposed to be the threat harassing travelers on the road, not these flying animals. If you can deal with them, Your Majesty, then you have the Cheddar family's support, as well as that of the Breakers.
I assure you that I will do everything in my power to solve this issue. I shall even bring this issue up to our allies. They may also be able to learn information that we cannot. And maybe, even if Tabedra alone can't deal with this problem, maybe a combined effort could lead to great success. In the meantime, I think it would be best if we devise methods of travel that could avoid unnecessary attention.
I will draft up travel plans. I know how to stay hidden.
There was one more thing I wish to ask. What would be the opinion of everyone here now that the monster that lived in it is dealt with? If we can make sure it is secure, if we could consider plans to reoccupy Tebedra Farms. It has been abandoned for so long. Now in theory, should be safe for people from Tebedra to return to.
The military advisors look a little uncertainly to each other. I'm not certain if we have the strength to defend 3 cities, Your Majesty, especially if we intend to broaden our horizons to potentially expand out to 5. Our troops will be spread razor thin. An attack on any of them without you there to defend us could be disastrous.
That's true. Hopefully, if we could bring these new cities in, we could convince some of the people to stay in them as well. That could help us a bit.
Well, I'm personally all for the plan. That is our ancestral land, after all. It's only fair that we return to it. Plus, that land is fertile, and, well, it is Alet, after all. If we take Tebedra Farms fast enough, we might be able to act in time to have a harvest ready by the time the month of reaping arrives. It could mean a great boon for our economy.
And I will say, I believe, Matthew, if I remember right, the Sardom is the biggest border near Tebedra Farms,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. They border you pretty much north, south, and east.
And I would like to add, I may hopefully be able to remove one of the potential dangers to Tebedra Farm. I have sent letter to the Sardom, asking to meet with their king as during their. I hear they're having a wedding, and I've asked if I could attend and maybe talk with the king there. Maybe this conflict between our 2 kingdoms can be brought to an end.
They all give a nod. It certainly would be something to be allies with the Weiss and Sardom.
Especially now that they are expanding their reach with this marriage, from what I understand.
Indeed. If the marriage goes through, they'll be they'll be the biggest empire in Yav. We wouldn't have seen a kingdom with that much reach since the days of Pendidi.
And with this current threat to all of y'all that Concord possesses, I believe I can convince them that it will be beneficial for us to be allies against this threat rather than continue our squabbles.
We all can dream, Your Majesty. Will there be anything else then, Your Majesty?
I think that about covers everything I had for today.
All right. Then this meeting is adjourned.
Shall put out word for anyone who wishes to who wishes to earn some pay that we are gathering forces.
And I will gather what I estimate to be the best of our troops so that you may appoint a new general for the defense of Rosewick. Mr. Oxlong, would you be willing to assist me with that? The representative of Fuse gives a nod. Yeah, I'll take a look over them. See if we can't sort out the Rhine from the rabble. Thank you for the appointment, Your Majesty. You won't be disappointed.
It's no trouble at all. I'm hoping that this arrangement will help us all bring a great new age to Tebetra.
They all give a quiet agreement in Thieves' Cant. Almost this sort of solemn acknowledgement of, despite everything, Tebedra taking its way of life very seriously. The rest of the world may not see it, but as far as Tebedra is concerned, they are just as much a kingdom as the rest of them. Anything else from you, Caleb?
No, I guess he'll let the general know that he'll leave kind of organizing of the new force to him. After all, he has the most experience with such.
Okay.
And just to simply keep him informed on the matter, and he will talk with Morris about getting everything set up to begin so that everything will be ready to begin paying the volunteer soldiers
Yeah,
and all that.
Tebedra's about to have a standing army. That's going to be fun.
I believe he
that,
already told the general about keeping an eye out for the opportunity to acquire new arms and defenses, correct?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, prioritize the taking of weapons so that
Especially of the relatively
siege
new,
variety. Yeah.
siege variety and of I think on Yav it's kind of guns are a relatively new thing, right?
Yeah, it's mostly Gyogre and Barbarous using them. A lot of the other
If we
kingdoms
could
don't use guns.
if we could acquire Caleb would like to acquire some and then maybe he has some ideas about maybe seeing if they can find anyone who knows, metalworking to so Tebeja might be able to make their own.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know this is going to be a scary thought, but what stuff I've heard about those plans to gather weapons into Daedra and all that during all of this?
Caleb, I'll say, are you making a point to keep it a secret?
Not exactly.
And yeah, if you don't tell the troops to keep it quiet, they're going to gossip. So yeah, what says during a night at the bar?
Yeah, I
Yes,
imagine
you hear
the
that.
various bandits are probably telling how the king is willing to pay for any guns or siege weapons that are found.
Yeah, so you hear
I
several of them
will.
plotting the taking of Gyogrin or Barbarous caravans to steal cannons.
I'm going to volunteer one of my 3 laser rifles for them to study and maybe figure out how to replicate.
Noted.
Oh yeah, I just realized Caleb also has a musket, doesn't he?
That you do.
Yeah, Caleb. Okay, Caleb will. Okay, then I
Or
think
he's got
Caleb
a.
will go forward with his idea of seeing if any craftsmen might be able to make some copies.
All right. What's is, as you part ways with yet another rifle, handing it to the Tebadrins to give them some firepower to work with that they're going to be stealing from either Barbarous or your dad. Caleb, discussing the treasury situation with Morris, retrieves his musket and goes to see if he can find a gunsmith to replicate it.
I was thinking Caleb will basically just find if there are obviously there are genuine gunsmiths.
Mm-hmm.
But if he can't find many of those, will also be any metal workers.
Yeah,
There
you're gonna most likely have to go with metalworker again. Rifles are super uncommon, especially down
Yeah,
south.
basically he's gonna just to a couple of the maybe notable ones. He'll make an offer, basically build a prototype copy, and we'll see which one works the best.
All right.
Whoever makes the best one, Caleb will commission to see if they can't start making more.
Okay.
Basically, a little competition.
It's probably the best way to get Tebadrins motivated to do anything, next to money.
Yeah, basically a competition with a prize.
And Lucian, do you contact Sundragon with what just happened?
Okay. So this is what I'll do. This is what I'm gonna do. Since I'm already working with Dr. Knight, I will ask her opinion.
Right.
Um,
As you're helping Dr. Knight run an experiment on some ichor, not enough to make a creature, just enough to kind of study the results. You, kind of clear your throat to get her attention, and she kind of looks to you and kind of gives you a nod of the head. She's going to keep working, but basically, you can go ahead and talk, and she'll listen.
I'm not great with social interactions, so maybe you can help me with something.
Sure thing, sweetie. What you need help on?
So the bandit lady came to me and she was angry with me for some reason.
Wait, bandit lady?
Yeah, the Sarda.
Wait, do you mean the con, Minloose?
Yeah.
Oh, I've been wondering what she was up to. Well,
And,
that's
uh,
great that you got a chance to meet her.
like really mad at me, like, and then I joy buzzard her.
Well,
Just
that might not have been the best idea, sweetie.
well, I thought it was funny. I thought she was gonna think it was funny. Like, ha ha ha! It's like I didn't the hard part.
Sweetheart, I hate to be the one to break it to you, but you do understand that people like that don't really have a sense of humor, right? They're more the you make a joke at my expense and I cut your head off kind of folks.
It was at her expense. I was just trying to lighten the mood.
You said you did a little buzzy, right?
Yeah, and I'll do it to her.
She kind of jolts when you do it and kind of rubs at her palm. And you know that hurts, right?
I mean, obviously, but like, she's a big tough warrior. I thought she could take it.
Just because they can doesn't mean they should have to.
Like, I was just trying to be funny, and
Well, if that's all you're worried about, sweetie, I'm sure she's got much bigger girl problems than you being silly with her hand. And I mean, you're not dead, so I think that's a good sign.
yeah, she was just really mad at me, and she wanted to know if I was gonna like protect Aggie in battle.
Queen Sun Dragon. That's
Mhm.
odd.
Yeah, it was a very confusing meeting. I literally thought I was going to die. But my question is, do I tell Aggie that happened? Because maybe she'll know what. Like maybe I'll like get some contact.
Yeah,
It was weird.
I'd say it's worth a shot, sweetheart. No reason not to.
All right, so I'll finish up my work with her, and then I'll hole up in my room for some messaging.
And you're casting Sending, right?
Yes. All right. So Aggie first. I gotta think. I get 25 words.
Yeah, 25 beautiful words. Make them count.
Okay. Give me a second to get my thoughts together. I assume that I pretty much told her by now that Caleb was king, because like we've been in contact.
Yeah,
like,
no, I mentioned that the Western Alliance already sent their congratulations on it.
okay. I had an interesting conversation with the bandits of the north. Their queen came to me and was really mad. Maybe you know about that? That's 25 words exactly.
Lucian, you send the message out. You feel that small little itch in your brain that it was received.
Oh, God, I hate that itching. I can't itch it. It's inside my brain.
But there's no response.
Oh, shit. I'll give it a minute. I know sometimes she takes a minute if she's in the middle of something. I'll give it a good minute.
You give it a good minute. And you can feel the spell fizzle and die when no response is given. It was received. She just didn't answer.
Okay. Okay. She's like gonna talk to herself. Okay, don't panic. Maybe she's just busy. Let's try it again. I'm gonna cast sending again. This time I will say, sorry, I know that's completely random, but it was random for me too. And please say something back. And that's where I'll end it.
This time the response comes immediately. You almost get the impression that she started talking as soon as the spell fizzled and wasn't expecting you to message her back. Because the response you get doesn't seem like it's directed at what you just said. It seems just communicated randomly almost. No. Why now? Why is she back now? Who the fuck does she think she is? After everything that's happened. She seems to realize at that point that another message has been delivered and that you can hear her. She gives a shuddering breath that sounds like she's been crying. Stay away from her. And that's where the message ends.
I thought you were going to say that's where the session ends.
No. I'm going to give Lucian an opportunity to message Sunshine again in case she wants to.
Yeah, I'll just say one last message, I guess. She's gone. I'm safe. I'm going to see you very soon. Please don't cry. And that's, I guess, what I'll say.
I'm not crying. I'm fine. Of course she's gone. She's always been gone. Since I was born, she was gone.
Yep. That's a sibling.
There's a long pause before the final two words of the message come through. And again, she sounds...
Have you actually been counting, Matthew?
Yes. She sounds distraught, but moving quickly into rage as she gives the final two words. Fuck her. And the line goes quiet.
Ooh.
And
Okay.
that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Yeah, I'm gonna really have to take some time and be like, okay, what the fuck do I say now?
Well, don't tell her we just agreed to work with her.
Oh God. Well, I didn't know, so it's not my fault.
And if it comes down to it, blame the Gyogrin.
I was like,
It was his idea.
that's definitely how people in relationship, they're completely understandable when you say I didn't know.
Yeah, that always works. Also, can one of our moderators, we have a bot in chat.
I'm dealing with it.
Thank you.
Get out of here, you bot.
But yes, that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Even the robots are crying.
You have found a potential new ally from the north, the Kanun of the Minless Kanat, northern bandits who changed their ways and became a legitimate functioning kingdom, the aspiration of what Tebedra hopes to someday be. Caleb readies an army to march on Barbarous to the north.
Ban.
Zephyr spends time with his father before getting back on the road. And What's is a little uncertain about this bandit queen, but she does make a considerable offer. However, Lucian, you're now thrown off as you're not sure what the exact nature of their relationship is or was, but Sun Dragon seems a combination of horrified, distraught, and angry that you even spoke to her, let alone potentially trusted her. And
Yeah,
she
I don't think.
insists up and down,
Yeah,
do not trust her.
I don't think she's angry at Lucian about it. I think she's more angry that
Also,
she showed
Metro.
up.
Yeah, she did say she shows up now of all time. She hasn't been there since I was fucking born.
Ooh, auntie.
That's what I'm
That's what-
thinking.
The end. Anyways, focusing back for a moment. Check out our website at officiald5hub.info. Down for maintenance at the moment, but soon to be resurrected from the grave like a filthy necromancer doing a healthy bout of housebreaking.
Damn.
Check out our link in chat to join our official D5 Discord server if you want to hang out with us directly. Support our episodes posted on Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Google Podcasts, and the iHeart Podcast Network, wherever you happen to get your podcasts from. For our audio listeners, catch us live on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time on twitch.tv/Odd Tornado Productions. Check out Odd Tornado Productions official on Tumblr to find links to all of our other work, including our Human Rogue and King's Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Killer5. That is 5 with a PH, don't get it wrong. Go in his chat, send a bunch of crowns and shit because he is king now. If you enjoy what we do, please support us on Patreon. That link will be posted as well. On Ko-fi at kofi.com/Odd Tornado Productions. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/TornadoOdd. The TNO are in fact capitalized. And if you want to see more of this party, plus or minus a few, tune in Mondays at 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time for our Monday game, Under Locks and Keys, featuring a party of globetrotting treasure hunters trying to assemble the artifacts of the gods in a race against technology-worshipping cultists. We are getting close to the final battle. We are on the penultimate chapter of that campaign, so if you haven't gotten caught up already, I highly suggest you do so. I'm very excited to see the conclusion of that. Thanks everyone at the table so much for playing. Thanks everyone at home so much for watching. And we'll see you all next week.
Yeah.